I had an idea for a photo, and for the past 2 years I've been trying to capture it, planning it to an inch of its life, and due to weather conditions and poor timing on my behalf, whether it be life commitments or work commitments, I haven't been able to capture the photo. And it all came to flourish this week. It all lined up perfectly. I almost actually missed it because I kind of forgot about it, and then last minute dash, get there, 25 minutes to spare, I line it up, I shoot my photos, come home, I'm totally happy, had it on my stories on Instagram. I go to edit on Lightroom to find that I made one crucial error which almost cost the entire shoot, but Lightroom was there to save me. It saved the entire photo, it saved the whole thing, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did to save the photo. This is the photo. It's the moon rising over Millmount in Drogheda, County Louth, Ireland, and here is what it actually looked like at a camera. So you can see we have a bit of recovery to be done. I was miles off the mark. I'll show you in full the issues that occurred, how this mistake happened, and then as well as that I'm going to show you all the editing process that I did to actually save this photo. Before we get into this, if you do enjoy the video, make sure to like the video and maybe subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to get notified every time I post up a new video. I'm an Irish commercial photographer with over a decade's experience in graphic design. I'm teaching everything I know from gear reviews and tutorials. So if that's something you're into, make sure to subscribe. Let's get started. So this is the photo in question we're going to be editing. This is it fully finished and finalized from Photoshop, but in Lightroom, this is the photo, full transparency, a little bit of poetic license been used to move the moon over because my priority on the night was not this photo. This was secondary. This was the priority. You can see perfect alignment along the moon and Millmount. So there's no movement of the moon in this photo, but there was in the original. And you can see here from the file name, this is not a raw file. There's the raw file name as it came out of the camera. So C1 as in camera 1, 08878. Then it says enhanced nr.dng. So this is an uncompressed file. It still has the qualities and purposes of a raw, but it's not a raw file. It's just a more manageable file than a raw file. Here is the actual raw file. Look at that. And that's edited. Here's the edits here. So this is the color grade, if you want to call it that, that's taken from the raw file of this file. So just copy and paste it over. This is what the file actually looked like straight out of the camera. So you can see there's a little bit of movement. It's probably the cropping. Let me see. Yeah, there's a little bit of cropping going on. So let's explain why did I have to take such an underexposed photo and stretch it to achieve this when clearly, as you can see here on 5 and 6 are the brighter exposures. Let's have a look at these, right? Let's look at this one again. Zoom in, and as you can see there, that is sharp. Now let's zoom out and click in to the next exposure up. You can already tell it's soft. Let's go on to the next one. It'll open now, and it's even softer again. This is caused by movement from the shutter closing on the camera. That's how bad it is, and I'm only zoomed in at 356.1 mils out of 600. You can't put the image stabilization on. I have 0.5 of a second. Look at the exposure there. 0.5 of a second, f11, ISO 1600. I did auto bracket. So it was taken one stop underexposed, one stop perfectly exposed, well, apparently, and then one stop overexposed. Now these have all been edited, obviously. Soft. So the only one that was actually sharp was the underexposed one, and I have to stretch it. So let's get stretching. So the first thing we're going to do is bring the exposure up. It's way underexposed, so let's bring it all the way up, and let's see what we're dealing with. White balance, I can already tell the white balance is off, so bring back some blue. We can decide on that a little bit later on. Bring the highlights back again. Let's see, maybe just leave them up a bit. We're not going to control the highlights. We're going to boost them. Bring the whites in as well. So we're just concerning ourselves with the foreground, the moon being the background. We're going to ignore. Let's make sure we have some black in the scene. Open those shadows all the way up, and look, see how noisy this is. This is going to get noisy. Right, so kind of looking somewhat nice. I usually kind of like a bit 30 on the clarity. We might just add in some texture as well, just to bring in extra details here, because the noise reduction is going to soften it down. And then vibrance. to 30. I'm not going to explain too much as to what I'm doing. I'm just going to kind of show you what I'm doing. I do have a full video as to explain my methods and what everything does in another video if you want to watch that. So the next thing I'm going to do is, normally I would go down and do the sharpening, but we'll leave that. I'll put that at, say, 80 and put that at 70. Actually, no, I'll put that down at 74. Again, I have a video all about how I do sharpening. My methods have not changed over the years. Yeah, enable that. It'll pick the right lens. Coola boola. And go back now into color grading, and let's get the color grading going. So what are the reds doing? Not much. What are the oranges doing? Very little too. Most of these are going to be doing very little because there's such little information here. Like the greens aren't even popping. So this is what I normally do. Just brighten it. Let's see, we'll brighten up that a little bit. Yeah, just go quickly on this one here. Bring it all back down to black and white. Add it in channel by channel, just like you would do if you're EQing music. You go channel by channel or frequency by frequency in music terms. Or I'm literally just trying to balance a little bit. Just, not have it too orange, not have it too yellow. Bring in some green. Bring in some more green. Aqua. Yeah. Okay, so that's looking kind of nice. Looking quite nice there. Let's check the white balance again. Can we bring it down a little bit more? So you don't want it too blue. You don't want it too orange. Now you could look at the foreground and you could bring it back up here, and then you could come up to, a linear gradient map, bring in there, and then bring back the blue that you lost in the sky. I do that sometimes with sunsets. But in this one, let's see. What does this say? To blue. Go again, pick a different spot. That's a bit better. Okay, kind of where we were. Let's see, split the difference of between 5,000 and 5,500. What about the tint? What is the tint doing? No, it's okay. We'll leave it at 8. So that's okay. I think that it's looking quite nice. Yeah. So now it comes to the magic part of it. You can see how noisy this is. It's absolutely disgusting. So we come down to the AI denoise. Now on the Mac Mini M1 16 gig, it takes 2 minutes. If you have a faster machine, it will be faster than that. The M1 chips do suffer a bit with the rendering, unfortunately. Cool. So that has finished, and look at that. Look. Absolutely clean as a whistle. Now you're going to notice a thing. It gets a little crunchy and a little bit crispy all around here. So this is where we're going to do some more fine adjustments on this. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to crop this because it looks okay, but it could be better. So I'm going to constrain. So a lot of times you see this on YouTube and people just doing this here and just whatever they feel. When you go to print, that's when you get hit with an expensive bill because you've got some custom size print that you want. Stick it to the ratios, 3:2. So this is going to be, I think it's a bit there. I'm just kind of looking at having yeah, that looks good. Looks a little off center as well, doesn't it? Yeah, there we go. Cool. That's okay now. So that looks okay. Right, okay. So this crunchiness is kind of distracting, and I think it's coming from the shadows. So we can pull the shadows back a bit. So what I will do is I will pull the shadows back. I'm going to pull the highlights back again. Still concerning myself with here, not concerning myself with the sky or anything out there. Just trying to make this into more of a manageable file. So we're going to do some dodging and burning as well with this. We're going to treat the sky as well. So we'll treat the sky first of all. So we're just going to go up here, delete that because I don't need it. Select sky. It does that. I love the AI in this. Not great. That's not great. Why did you select part of the building and parts of this? Select sky is not great. That wasn't great at all, lads. Object. Let's see here. And just deselect some of this here. Okay. Should deselect some of that. The only thing I don't like with object is it's a lottery as to what it picks. And it made a great job. Oh, that did a fantastic job. Do it again on the building, on the mill mount, the cup and saucer as it's locally known as. There we go on that one. Cool. A little bit dodgy there. I might just add that back in again with a brush. And there's a little, you know, just a little bit to and fro on this. But just, if you can try and get it as best you can, just get it as right as you can. I'm making a mess of this now. I'm not using, I'm currently not using my graphics tablet because I got sent one out to test and I'm not overly happy with it. So I'm not using it currently. Let's have a look here. Just brush that in there and then just clean it up as best we can. Okay, now that looks pretty decent. Don't worry about this not being selected. That's okay. No, it is selected. That's okay. That's all. That's fine. So that's not important. It doesn't really matter if that goes down in exposure. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the exposure right back down again. Let's take the exposure down a bit and then start controlling with the highlights, and that's where you can see the issues. Wow, that's so bad looking. Oh, that's terrible looking. Wow. Yeah. The select sky isn't great, and actually I just noticed on it as well, it didn't actually select the moon, so we're gonna have to select the moon as well. So add that in. So that was the whole purpose of getting the sky, was to control the highlight of the moon. So this is the great thing, you know what I mean? Like look at the control that you have on this file like this. Now, you know, it's better as if you were doing it as a HDR, but as a single exposure is pretty good too. Just the extra noise is the issue. Still need to address this then. Add brush. I'm just going to go brush because I have more control. Now, I was more careful when I was doing this. I didn't actually have as much of an issue with this. Up here I had an issue, I remember, on the original file. But obviously I would say to you, take your time. But for the interest of demonstration, I'm just gonna do it quick. So it's not going to be perfect. You've seen me do it right in the final photo. For this demonstration, it doesn't have to be perfectly right, or we will be here all night long. Okay, so let me see. We'll take this to about here, about there, add some contrast in, maybe, yeah. And I'm just kind of just playing around with things, you know, just trying to find a nice balance. What I'm looking for here, right, is to have a nice realistic color, because what I'm going to do then is, so normally you wouldn't have to do all this. Normally you just select sky, and then the next thing I'll be telling you is to minus with the linear brush. So we're going to have it that there is still a nice glow, and this is artistic license in this as well. Just go from here, hold shift down, and just minus up and give us a nice even gradient. Yeah, so then we can go back to this again and pull this further down. And it's just back and forth, balance, balance, balance. You know, it's subtle movements. Just maybe shorten that down, so you can see how this is affecting the image. So we can always make it smaller, move it down. Look at the preview here as well. It's one thing to look at there, but always keep an eye here. That is a nice balance. It looks balanced. Didn't really, when I'm looking at the main screen, didn't really look too balanced. When I'm looking here, that is a nice balance. I wouldn't mind it a little bit. I wouldn't mind a bit more saturation, or like a little bit of pop out of it. So what I'm going to do is go down to the blue, maybe add some extra blue to it. I'm still looking over here at this preview. So yeah, maybe about there, and maybe I'll just pop the luminance down a bit. Yeah, that looks nice there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, so we have the sky is looking quite nice, and Millimet's not looking too bad. Let's actually just start doing some dodging and burning. The last thing we'll do is the moon, because we're going to spend some time on the moon, because it doesn't fully work here. I had to make a duplicate. So we'll do so what we'll do is what we'll do now is we'll do a brush and we will do dodging and burning for the foreground. So I'm just going to set this up to like one stop above and see, let me see, change the flow down to like 50% and just start playing. So you're looking for highlights. There's a natural highlight. There's a natural highlight. That's going to be highlighted. A little bit of highlights there. Add some here. And you're just looking for natural. There's a highlight. There's a highlight. And I haven't touched that yet. You haven't, because you'll hear it with the mouse clicks. Highlights, highlights. Find the highlights and then start accentuating them. So we'll do one here. And obviously we'll clean up the edge as well, so it doesn't affect the sky. We'll do one here and continue it on around. And then we'll hit it again. And just won't continue on as far. And then on the wall. And then hit it again. And here again. And then just do I'm just going to do a couple of clicks here actually. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we do loads. Swipe. And swipe again. And yeah, and then maybe a little bit, like as if it's been lit. You do uplit. I don't even know if I did that much in the original edit. The thing is, if you go too much, say you go way too frivolously on this, like, you know, like really here and make these like completely stand out, like you don't want to be dragging the viewer's eye down here. That's a distraction. So if you go too far, you can always go up to erase, go to flow, bring it down and start controlling it that way as well. Works the exact same way up, you know, getting rid of it as it is including it. So that's all right. And we'll bring it down. We're going to add them in a little bit more. So I'll bring the flow right back down again and just do it 1 sweep, 2 sweeps, 3 sweeps. As the thing about flow is it adds every time you move. It's not like opacity on Photoshop. Every time you move and it's adding on. When you use the opacity brush on Photoshop, it adds every time you click. With flow, and it's the same. You can use flow in Photoshop and it'll do the same too. I don't like using flow, to be honest, but I have no choice on Lightroom. So that's pretty cool. Let's have a look up here and turn it on or turn it off. So there you go. And there you go. So before and after, before and after. That is looking good. Okay, let's go up and let's sort out this moon. Can we select it? This would be nice. Just going to click. It's a big white circle. It should select it. No, I didn't. This is what I mean. It's an absolute lottery as to what it picks. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I've deleted it, so I have to add it in again. There's so many things I don't like about Lightroom. That's one of the janky little things to have at the minute. I'm going to click and hold maybe, and then let go. Does this do any difference? Click and hold. Did you select it? You did. Oh, that was nice. I didn't. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I was doing this edit, I did not get it that clean. I had to do a separate layer. So let's bring the exposure way down, bring the highlights down, and control it. Oh, that looks nice. So what we're going to do now, right, is that's nice. That level is quite nice. But I'm going to darken these craters. They live in the black zone. So we're just going to hit it with black. And look, see there? Now, it adds vibrancy. So we will just take it out. And what we'll do as well is, because we've introduced that color back again so strongly into the image, you can actually control it down in the luminance. So if I start going here and there, you'll see it starts controlling it a little bit more. Now it's actually, yeah. Let me see, what do we want to do? We'll add in some yellow, and then that'll balance it out more. Yeah. That looks good. That looks... Oh, wait, hold on. Let me have a look again. No, it doesn't. It could be better. Let's go back up to this again. Make sure we've got it selected, because I was down the bottom in the general editing. Shadows. What's shadows doing? Not really much. We go full 0 to black. No. And then I'm just you can see I'm moving ever so gently. It's all subtle movements, subtle edits. I think that looks okay. That does look okay. And I'm going to say this now, that looks far better than what I actually originally did the other day. But I do like what I had done. So I couldn't get the moon selected. So because of that, what I did do was I went back to the original raw file and I brought it back down. So the original raw file here, what I did was I edited the file for the moon. So I took the exposure down like here. Brought so whatever, like say it was that, and then I went into Photoshop and I brought this moon and photoshopped it onto this section, then grab the whole lot and move the moon over to be perfectly in line with mill mount. And that's how I finished. Added in some extra flourishes to the photo and signed, sealed and delivered. But that's where, look where we've taken this from. We've taken this photo from here. There is your before, there is your after. That looks really good. The control. Yeah, it's still quite noisy, but it's not like, I have Milky Way photos that have more noise in that, and there's nothing you can do about it, you know. I've photos from back in the day with Canon 6Ds with far more noise in the foreground than this, that have been printed for customers and no hassle at all. Your customer's never going to notice these color issues. It's only going to be fellow photographers or yourself. Very powerful. So there you go. That is how I went about using Lightroom to save a photo shoot. Whoa, right, so you can see with the help of Lightroom and also a camera with a high dynamic range, that is crucial too. A camera with a low dynamic range is not going to get you where you need to be for Lightroom to then assist you even further. You know, I did bracket for a reason, to keep the image clean, and the overall image, even though I've done all these steps, is still not as clean as I would like it, but at least I didn't lose the photo, and that's more essential to me. But I do hope you got something from this video, you did enjoy it, and if you did, give it a like, maybe subscribe to the channel, ring the bell to get notified every time I post up a new video. Find me on all the social medias under Mark Duffy Photography, and until the next time, later gators.